Hello everybody, how are you guys doing today? Okay, so we're gonna build a simple vanilla JavaScript carousel with a slider. And this one is similar to the bootstrap one. So the way this is basically we have this image here with the road and we can go through it nicely like this. And once we get to the last picture, it's gonna go back to the original one. So it's gonna transition like this infinitely, so we can click it as many times and it's just gonna loop over all the images. We can also do it in reverse, so everything works all nicely and beautifully. So hey, if you don't want to use Bootstrap or you find yourself using Bootstrap just to get a carousel going, I'm gonna show you a way to do it all in vanilla JavaScript. So hope it helps in any way. Okay, let's start. I have here a empty HTML, empty CSS, and app.js file here. I got 5 images here of pixels, so just get 5 images. Yeah, you can get them anywhere if you want. It would be nice if you get the same size to all of them. It's just gonna make your life a bit easier. Okay, let's start. Let's not waste any more time. Here we go. So we're gonna build up we're gonna say carousel container. So we're gonna create a div called carousel container, and in this div we're gonna create another div called carousel slide. So this is where the actual images go. So we're gonna say image, and we're gonna select the first one, and I'm just gonna duplicate this one so we don't waste so much time. We're gonna say 2 here, 3, 4, 5, and this one is actually j.bag like this. Good, let's see what we have. Open. All right, we have 5 images. Awesome. For now, let's just leave it like this. Outside here, I'm gonna add 2 buttons. We're gonna change this later on. We're gonna actually add them inside the carousel, but for now, we're just gonna add them down here. So button, previous, and we're gonna do next here. We're gonna add them an ID, prev button, ID, next button. Simple, straightforward, hopefully. Good, okay, we can start working on the CSS. So go into your CSS. I'm gonna add some default styling here. So we're just gonna add some padding, margin, box sizing, whatever. Okay, so we're gonna select the carousel slide, the carousel container, my apologies, like this. So this is the outside container, the big one. And we're just gonna add a width 60% here and a margin auto, so we center it. So just to keep it nice and center. You can mess around with this, make it smaller, bigger, however you want. But for now, this looks good. Good. Now, this is where the magic happens. We're gonna say carousel slide. So we're gonna select the inner div here, and we're gonna just say display flex here. And boom. We got all the images one next to each other. And now we're gonna add a width 100 to this. And we're gonna also add, let's add a default height here of 500 pixels. Now this doesn't look good now, but when we add a overflow hidden to our container, everything looks nice all of a sudden. All the images are hidden because we set the width to 100 here on the inner div. So yeah, everything just works. It's awesome. We're not gonna style these for now because these are just prototypal for now. And yeah, I think that's it for our CSS now. I'm actually gonna remove this overflow hidden so we see what's going on. And I'm actually gonna add a border of 5 pixels solid black so we see where our actual carousel is. Okay, awesome, good. Let's continue. So I think we can start working on our JavaScript now. Actually, before we do that, for us to get this smooth, nice infinite loop, we need to make a clone out of the first image and the last image. And we can do this in JavaScript, but it's gonna take too much time and we're just gonna overcomplicate everything for no reason. So we're just gonna make it in our HTML. So go back to your HTML and add a image, and we're gonna select the last one here. So for our first image, it's gonna be the last image again. And we're gonna add an ID to this called last clone. And we're gonna do the same for our last image. We're gonna say image. We're gonna select the first one. Wow, this is confusing. ID first clone. All right, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then we have the first clone and last clone here. So this is how it looks. All right, this first image, second, 3, 4, 5, and then it clones the first one again. And we have the last one here again. So we ideally want to start on this one. But if we click on the previous button, it's going to smoothly go to this one. Hope that's clear. Good. Okay, so I promise that should be it for HTML. Now we can start working on our JavaScript. Okay, so we are gonna select the carousel slide document.query selector, and I believe we named this carousel slide, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, that's correct. Good. Let's go back here, and we're gonna say const carousel images. This is gonna be all the images. So we're gonna say document.query selector all on this one. And we're gonna select the carousel slide again. And we're gonna say image, okay? So this gives us all the images. Okay, let's select the buttons as well. So we're gonna say const prev button is document.query selector, and I believe we call this prev button, just like that. Yep, good. Copy. This is next. Next. Good. Awesome. And now, since we want to start, we want to monitor on which picture we are on, we need some sort of a counter. So that's exactly what we're gonna do. We're gonna say counter, and I'm gonna put let here because we're gonna update this. And we're gonna start on the first image, so I'm just gonna put 1. And I'm also gonna select the width of the image, so we know how much we need to slide. So for that, we're gonna say const size is equal to carousel image. I'm just gonna select one image here. I'm gonna say client width. So this is just gonna give us our original width back. That's it. Good. So since we want to start on the first image and not on this duplicate one, we're gonna say carousel slide. Right? So we select the big one, and we're gonna say dot style dot transform equal to translate x. We're gonna translate the x, and we're gonna append plus parentheses, and we're gonna say minus size times counter. So this is gonna be 1000 whatever minus 1000 whatever times 1. It's gonna be now, right? So it's gonna move one picture forward. And then we're gonna say plus, and we're gonna say pixels, just like that. So let's see, and look at that. We started on our original picture and not on our duplicate one. Good, awesome. So that's a good start. All right, so now we can start adding our button listeners. So I'm gonna name this button listeners. All right, let's see, next button. Next button. What am I doing? Next button dot add event listener, and we want to listen on a click. There we go. We're gonna add a function here, and you can do function here if you want, like this, but I'm gonna do ES6 way. And here we're gonna say carousel slide dot style dot trans. We're not gonna worry about transition for now. Actually, yeah, let's add this carousel slide dot transition style. Oh my god, dot transition. because we also want to add the transition to this, is equal to transform, let's see, 0.4 ease in out. You can also make a class and just add the class here in CSS if you wish to. I'm just gonna add it here so we can see everything, so I'm not jumping too much around on CSS and JavaScript. So again, you can add this as a separate class, and then you just add the class and remove it. But I'm gonna leave it like this for now. And okay, so on our next button, which one is this? The next button. So after we add the transition, we also wanna add 1 to our counter. So we're gonna say counter plus plus. So this just adds 1. So it's gonna be 2 now if we click. So if we see console log counter, then we are gonna see this happening here. Click, 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 click. There we go. Increments perfectly. Good. And now let's remove this. We're gonna say carousel slide again. Dot style dot transform is equal to translate x. Actually, we're gonna do basically what we did up here. So I'll just copy this and paste it here like that. Now we leave this here because we originally want to start on our, not on our duplicate, but after that we can just do this. Now we have a few issues with this, is if we click and we go through all of these, whoa, okay, we just leave our thing. So that's not good. Okay, so for the previous button, we can just pretty much duplicate this and just change our things here. Previous, and here we want counter minus minus. And yeah, I think that should do the trick. Let's see. Yep, works nicely. Again, we still have this problem here that we can just leave the container, which is not ideal. Okay, awesome. There's one more thing we want to do. So for not leaving the container, we can just say for now, you can go up here. So up before all of this, and we can just do an if statement. So we're going to say if counter is smaller or equal than 0, then we can just return. So this is basically not going to do anything. Good. Actually, we're going to add this later on because I want to explain something here. Good. Now, the problem is how do we loop back to our original picture? Well, for that, we're going to use something called transition end. It's basically an event listener that's going to trigger after a transition finishes. So after our transform finishes here, that listener basically fires off. So to demonstrate that, we can say carousel slide. So we're going to select the carousel slide here. And we're going to say dot add event listener. And we're going to say transition end. And we're going to do a function here. Good. And to demonstrate, I'm just going to say console log fired. Relatable. Okay, let's see. Next. So it basically fires every time the animation stops. There we go. So we want that basically so we can reset the transition here. So what we're going to do is reset the transition, and if our image is the cloned one, we're basically going to reset the transition and we're going to jump back to our original picture. So I know that sounds confusing, but we're going to see it visually. It's going to be quite nice. So we're going to say if, and we're going to say carousel images. So we're going to select all the images here. And to select the specific image that we are on, we're going to say counter, because we have this counter that keeps track of everything. And if the ID here is equal to last clone, okay, we have that clone picture here, this one. So if the ID equals to the last clone, then we want the carousel slide style.transition. So basically we're gonna take this transition. You know what? Let's just do this. There we go. And we're gonna say none here. Good. And the reason we want to take off the transition here is so we can translate it back to our original picture. So if we go to this one, right, we remove the transition and jump all the way to this one without the transition effect. So here, if we say counter equals to, let's see, which one is that? Last clone. We say carousel images, so we select all the images, the length, so we get the length, and we're gonna say -2 because we have the duplicate, right? We have the duplicate and this one. So we're gonna say carousel images, the length -2. So we update the counter here, and then we're gonna just copy this again. Now let's see what we have so far. Bam, and look at that. We jumped all the way here. Now if we go, it's gonna jump again. It's gonna jump again. Now if we remove this transition, we are gonna have this ugly effect. So this is why we added, see? This is basically what's happening, but we just removed the transition so it doesn't look like that. Okay, awesome. And now we just need to do it. Now we're gonna fix that bug too, so don't worry. There we go. And now we need to do this with the other one too. So I'm just gonna copy this again, remove this, console log, we don't need it. Good, good, add this back. Okay, so for the second one, we're just gonna duplicate this one. We're gonna change first clone here, transition none again. And for this, we're just gonna say counter equals carousel images dot length again, and we're gonna say -counter, just like that. This stays the same, and then we should have this effect. Hopefully didn't take so long. So we can go like this, and if we go the other way too, it's also gonna, again, we still have this bug. But let's see. Bam. Okay, great. So we jump back. Again, we're not loading everything here again. We're just jumping the position. Good. So now we can finally set overflow hidden, so it doesn't look disgusting. Go back to carousel container, overflow hidden, and it looks nicer now. And there we go, we have the effect. Now there's a bug. If we click the next button really fast, we're gonna go all the way to this. Now the reason that happens is because we update everything, so the counter is going off, right? Like it's going off like crazy. But this only jumps after the transition ends, right? So we don't give it time if we click super fast for this to take place, right? So this doesn't even work only just because we click super fast. So to fix that, we just go back and we are gonna do what we did originally, but I wanted to show it first before I added this. So we're gonna say if counter basically is smaller or equal to 0, we're just gonna return. We're not gonna be doing anything. So if we check now, click super fast. Actually, I need to go the other way, I think. Is that correct? No, it's that's not correct. Okay. Again, let's try to debug this, because that's what we do most of the time, right? Nothing's perfect. Okay, next button. Okay, I made a mistake. So this needs to go to previous button, not on next, right? Because on the previous we say counter -. So it gets smaller right here. So let's try again. Go, 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 go. So it doesn't break anymore. Okay. So I'm like, why is the counter not working? Why is it not returning? Oh, because we're incrementing here. Oh, okay. Good. Here we're gonna do the opposite. We're gonna say if counter is bigger or equal to carousel images dot length, and again we're gonna say -1 here, and we're gonna say return again. Good. Let's see. Click, 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 click. So this works. This one, click, 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 click. All right, we don't have that issue anymore, so we can. It works awesome. Good. Again, now you can feel free to also play with the speed of this. I mean, probably not the. I'll keep it like this for now, but you can experiment. Good, we have everything and it's working. I know it might take a bit too long because I wanted to explain it a bit. So let's fix these buttons. So for fixing the buttons, I used bootstrap font awesome here, but you can keep the buttons. You can also make your own SVG. I'm just gonna add this now so we can finish this fast. So just add the font awesome here, and now we need the actual icons. So I'm gonna say font awesome. Actually, I'm just gonna add them because I already made this. So if we're gonna say icons, you're gonna find the arrows here. So if you search for the arrows, arrow, and there's one. So all you have to do is click here and copy here. And what I'm gonna do is basically copy both of those, and we're gonna add them inside here, the container. So I already have them here, so we don't waste time. And just add the previous and next button ID. Make sure you don't forget about those. Just like that. Good, awesome. Now in our CSS, so we make things a bit nicer, we need to do two things here. So I added some basic style here. I'm gonna say previous button. We're gonna say position absolute on this. We're gonna say top 50, z index 10. So this goes on top so we can see it. I'm gonna say left 5% for this. Font size, I'm gonna do 30 pixels so it's nice and big. Color white. Opacity 0.5 so it's a bit faded, and cursor pointer. Now we're not gonna see it. It's up here because we need to add position relative to our container. And boom. Not boom. Bad boom. Carousel container. Okay, carousel slide. Where did we add these? All right, we added them to the right position. Okay, what is wrong with you? Position previous. It's preview. There we go. Preview button. Is it preview button? There we go. Maybe we can also increase the opacity on this. 0.7 maybe? Maybe more. Let's just remove this. Yeah, there we go. And let's just copy this and add the next. And we're gonna say right here, not left, right. And there we go. That should do the trick. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions, make sure to leave it down in the comments below. Sorry if it took too long, but yeah, that's how you build a simple carousel. If you want a challenge, you can also work on adding those little bubble buttons. So that's a challenge that I'm gonna give you guys if you want to finish. In the next video, I might add it in the comments on how I would do it. But yeah, hope you enjoyed this video. If you want more, make sure to leave a comment. And I'm rambling too much. All right, take care, bye.